Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Welcome to Web3 Warriors, episode 33. We are featuring Jigar, who's joining us back to talk about metaverse fashion, his awesome new avatars collection, and everything metaverse and digital fashion. So welcome, Jigar. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Doing good. Thanks
Uh,
for joining
yeah,
us.
yeah.
I know it's a little bit late on your side of the planet there in India.
Yep. It's around 9:30, 10 o'clock
Okay,
away.
not too bad, not too bad. Cool. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jigar, for joining us. Welcome again to the Web3 Warriors, everyone. I'm your host, David Krome. Go by Krome in the Metaverse. And here on episode 33, we will be revisiting the topic of digital fashion, the metaverse, as is a recurring theme on Web3 Warriors, and really just the future that we see, with avatars, with the opportunity to really create a whole economy around the fashion and the digital wearables that exist within the metaverse. And Jigar has been, blazing that trail along with many others in the voxel space specifically, but also, looking at other options, other metaverse options that are kind of coming up as we evolve here in this space. So it's a really exciting conversation. We're always looking to touch base with creators on this kind of basis and see how things are evolving, how things are going. So thank you again, Jigar, for reconnecting with us. And I think it's really important to understand kind of where we are in the metaverse right now, where our limitations are, whether it's hardware. Certain people can't even jump into a lot of these metaverses. I think that's why Cryptovoxels has been fairly successful, because it doesn't have that accessibility barrier. You don't need a super good computer necessarily to jump into it. And it's also just a pretty cool sandbox for creators, because it has a lot of kind of Minecraft similarities with its simplicity, and really being able to break down, voxel by voxel, the assets that you're making and what you're building. And as I've said today with episode 33, we're really looking at digital fashion and the evolution of the metaverse. Like, what is the economy going to look like 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, as the hardware evolves, as the immersiveness kind of improves, and really just as people are more and more aware of the advantages of working in Web3. And I think that especially you look at a lot of these young kids in Roblox, even Minecraft still, and they love it, they're having fun, and that's great. But why not do the exact same thing in an ecosystem where you can actually turn around and trade the assets that you build? You can turn around and sell the assets that you build and actually be able to be rewarded for your creativity a bit better. You get to meet other people within the metaverse that are also building, and you can all kind of help each other. And again, the creator economy is what we're focused on here. And I think in no other corner of the blockchain is the creator economy as kind of really versatile and innovative as what I see happening in the metaverse space. We had Cyber Nerd Baby on here, who are building just astronomical AR digital assets that are just mind-blowing. I think they recently won an award in Europe for their AR quality at a big Meta gathering. So they're getting noticed, and that's really exciting. We've had Ebro here, who's building a lot in OVR and AR as well, and learning a lot of 3D. And so we're just really interested in looking at that side of things. There's a big intersection, of course, with the gaming industry, right? As I've mentioned already, Roblox, Minecraft, to a bigger extent, you can even look at games like Grand Theft Auto, which is by far the most successful game in history, Grand Theft Auto 5. It's been running for over 10 years now, and it's essentially a metaverse. It's not a Web3 decentralized metaverse, but it is a very immersive and entertaining experience that really just keeps people hooked in. So if you see something like that, where the only thing you add is the ability to actually be able to trade your assets, create your assets, and sell your assets within that world, I think that's kind of the direction we're going. And so it's a really exciting topic. It is kind of a big part of the inspiration behind this entire podcast series, because the metaverse is just so versatile and there's so much to discuss. So with that in mind, I'm really happy to have Jigar here, one of the leading minds in voxels, and specifically in this metaverse development and in this digital fashion space. I want to give shout out to Ope as well, as another person that I follow on Clubhouse. I got to get her on the podcast some point, because she's really into the fashion, like the real core fashion of it and what's possible. And she clearly has connections in the real world fashion industry as well, which is a very interesting intersection. But Jigar, thank you again for joining us. Maybe before we get any more of your background, I know you were with us in season 1. You did kind of tell us about how you had this, long career kind of building in 3D and essentially making real life wearables before you jumped into the digital world and started making digital wearables, which is really fascinating. Not many people, I think, building digital assets had that kind of history of building actual real life 3D assets before jumping in here. So I would just be curious, how has your work kind of evolved since maybe season 1 when we talked to you and talked about your 3D printing history and how that kind of came into effect in the metaverse? How has your work style evolved? And then we can jump into a little bit more of your projects. But welcome, Jigar. How are you doing? How are things going?
Thank you for that long introduction. It's always good. Yeah, it's been a very good journey. I think I've grown every day. I know it's been bare, and seeing someone say that it's been good is a bit difficult part, but that's wood. Luckily, it's been good for me. I and I've grown this last project. I know you wanted to talk about the last project later, but a, a, a part of your question is the project. What happened was I started off with something, and by the time I had the last piece that I was working on, I had to go back to the first piece, because in the whole journey from start to end, I had learned so much. And it's crazy how I had to go back to the first one and started adding, because that's the beauty about art. That's like, I think I've learned that very early in my age, that it could be the smallest or the simplest artwork, but if you do it every day, you can make that simple work go to, break bounds. I think in this last project that I had, I surprised myself. I literally surprised myself, the things I added. Basically, it's just voxels at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But from those small boxes that have so many limitations, I think I've crossed some limitations over there and got the got it more real, more organic. I think I that's what I think, that my project, this especially the last project I've been working on. I'll talk more about the project later, but it 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 surprised me. At the end of it, I was staring at what I made for the next 1 hour or half an hour. Yeah,
That's the
that's what
best
I.
feeling, right? Just taking it all in. So it sounds like you've been very meticulous and you've noticed some maybe finer details. I know I'm very impressed by the fact that you've pulled together kind of like full body avatars, right? That you can kind of throw over your avatar in CryptoVoxels, or even replace your whole avatar with them. And definitely looking at those minor details like the shading and just the way that the clothes look fairly real for voxels. So yeah, how did you stumble across that? And then maybe you can tell us a little bit more about these specific avatars.
It was just working every day. I was excited when I started off with the project. I had the feeling. I think most of the projects, it's the excitement that I have that really makes me feel that, okay, this is going somewhere, and it acts like a manifestation for me every time, and surprisingly it does work in the direction I wanted to. But it's like I said, it's mostly doing the work, working every day, showing that passion into waking up with that excitement of, making something new today. I think when you do that, you make some mistakes, and when you see those mistakes, you see it makes you feel that, okay, this is a mistake here, but I might do use this somewhere else. And those little things that happen while you're creating something, I think that is where you learn. It's just given me a different outlook to life in so many ways, the art itself. So I'm just excited about it. What more I'm here to
that's
learn.
amazing. And so you're just learning as you go, clearly, but also, taking what you learned before you jumped into the metaverse and applying it, in these voxels creations that you've got here. So maybe we can jump into the CryptoVoxels avatar project, because I have some questions around that, and then we can get to some other questions I have. But I'm just really interested in the way that you've laid out these CryptoVoxels avatars, and I think that it's just a really cool use case and really, yeah, just really awesome IP, honestly. Like, I haven't seen anybody do it, so this is Jigar trademark intellectual property here. But the way that you basically put, like, I don't know, how many different digital assets do you have here, for example, looking at the Kane Mayfield CryptoVoxels avatar, right? So you got shorts, you got a shirt, you got 2 different pairs of shoes, You got 2 different hats, really nice headphones. So the avatar is displayed with all these different digital assets together at a price of 0.03, which looks like is that ending today?
I think it is, but I can relist it. I think I'm having a housewarming party for the new parcels I got on my
Nice.
birthday on
Nice.
25th. So I'm going to list them again. Sure.
October 25th?
September 25th.
September 25th. Oh, okay, coming right up. All right. But how does it work? So, like, you purchased this, and I know I got my journalist one. I love the purple vibes on the journalist. I'd love to get another one too. But look at all these different digital assets that are kind of included in this one picture, right? I believe I've received the shoes now, but how do you handle this? So someone purchases this bundle at 0.03. How does it evolve from there?
So this project, let me take it from the start. This was more than a project. This was a gratitude because it was a bear market, and everyone was a bit, worried about what the future holds. And there have been people in Clubhouse from the last 1.5 year that have been holding spaces. And I felt that even in times where rough, where you don't know where this is going, they still make sure they were on Clubhouse every day, holding spaces for people to speak, to share their experiences, share their ideas, cross pollinate. And this is important. This is very much important. This is the reason I know so much about the space, and probably you too, right?
Right.
This is where we've learned everything. We've got the ideas. It's always all obviously not just my idea. If I have an idea space staying in the space for 1.5 year, it's a cross pollination of so many brains that you experience every day. So with respect to that, I wanted to do something for the people who've been holding these spaces like Low Sleazy, Ope, Kane Mayfield, all these people, so that they have a brand in the metaverse. Plus, they have merchandise to do giveaways that they might want to put a price on, or they might just do giveaways to increase their followers and support, or they could bundle up with their own NFTs and give it as an add-on and add as a utility. So I thought a branding for these people are very important. I've had the opportunity to do the same branding for Money B from Digital Underground. I
Right.
just recently did the same for Tech from Smith and Wesson, and I think it's more than these people. These people are celebrities in the web too. The celebrities for me in the web 3 are these people who've been holding spaces in Clubhouse, because I don't think I'd be at the stage if they weren't. Not just me, a lot of these PRs who got some amount of success in the space would not have been able to if these spaces weren't there. Right. So I wanted to do something. So I made up avatars for this. It took me 2 months to make these avatars. And I think I'm not the only one who has gratitude towards them. So I put them as in additions, and so these avatars have merchandises as well, like if you see in the link. And the people, I made the same avatars as 3D collectible cards, and had a drop party and told that this is what I did for these people. I think these people have done a lot for the community, and if you feel so, you could back this project. What I did for them, and with that, I could get my own parcel because I think I've done a lot from the last 12 months. Helping people as well, not just with the business that I have, but help others also get an outlook. So, and everyone's been telling that I deserve to get a parcel because I've been building on for other people. So
yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised you didn't have one already.
And I didn't. It's been more than a year now. So at the same time, this project was something that could help me as well, because that did leave me. I just love how everyone came and supported me in
Yeah,
such
it was
a
a really
rough
awesome room to
time.
be a part of, and that was a really great idea on your part. To really acknowledge these community leaders and create avatars of them. It's really awesome.
No. So I was saying, so yeah, because of the love and support that people shared, and it was just not for me. It was for more the other people who I've learned from as well. It was just a very special moment like that. I don't think I'll be able to forget. Everyone was so full of emotions and everything. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So I just wanted to clarify the way that you've bundled them, because this is what I really found interesting, right? And the fact that you do, present all the different digital assets as like one bundled group here. And so how are you presenting it as far as when you purchase this at 0.03? Are you getting a copy of each one of these digital assets eventually?
You will get one by one. You'll be getting airdrop the merchandise, not the avatar. The avatar is for the person, the person who the avatar is for. But the merchandises are made for them. and everyone. It's going to be a mixed lot. So one from whichever avatar, like a couple of merchandises from the avatar you collected, and then the rest would be random from different avatar merchandises that are allocated over
Cool.
there.
But
So
just because
it's
you
going to be more
collected one,
airdrop.
you'll get like random
Yes.
airdrops essentially. I know I got the shoes already for journalists, so that's pretty cool.
It's just that I'm working on a smart contract to make it easier. Believe me, the after the project, I realized that I had to airdrop 250 variables in the first round, and that's a bit of a task. It takes 3 days to actually airdrop that much, and again, Polygon every now and then has some glitch or some error happening. So it really gets your takes your time. At the same time, when I bought the parcel, I'm more excited. I'm constantly thinking about what next can I build on there, and it's so I have a developer working on the smart contract right now, so that I could just airdrop at a click of a button. Hopefully, there have been challenges, but hopefully that's possible. So that could be quicker. But yeah, I'm excited. There's cooler stuff happening. I think my collectors always get something every now and then, get something airdrop to them. That's how I want
Yeah,
to take
something
it.
to look forward to for sure. And I don't even have any expectations at 0.03. Even just those nice purple shoes would be a good deal. I'll take any other airdrops for sure. I did want to mention another awesome project that you have been involved with and working on that I've been seeing a lot of interesting use cases for, and that's the Renaissance City metaverse gallery spaces. So essentially what you've done is, or not just you, but the team at Renaissance City, using some architectural background, some voxels building experience, have built these really kind of stylish gallery spaces that someone can purchase. And once purchased, there's a whole walkthrough of how to basically activate it within your own CryptoVoxels lot. And you can plug in your own pictures and create basically a total walkthrough NFT gallery, or even just art gallery. It doesn't have to be NFTs. So it's just a really immersive, awesome kind of concept. So I'm just curious, how did you guys come up with it? How have you found it? Is there a vision, looking into the future for these kind of pre-made galleries?
I'd start with how it started. It was started with me, Marina, and Stargazer. We started off working on a parcel that Stargazer bought, and we were just I was teaching Marina that this is how you do it. And Marina is someone who's been a creative director for 30 years in various countries that we hear that we've heard of, obviously, yes, with Sony and all these companies. And she
Wow.
she is talented. Working with her taught me so much more about colors and how better it could be, how perfect can things be. And while working with her, we talked, and we got to understand that how important it is for an artist to be able to curate their art gallery or their art while showing it to them. Meanwhile, we talked about how the ways that were already there, how the shilling was not a good way to promote your art, because I think art is something that you depict it in an artistic way, because normal words cannot explain what that art means. And then taking it back in this space where you have to talk about or shill about your artwork, that's again, that's not, I didn't
It's
we didn't
very
find that as a
difficult.
very,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I think that's a very big obstacle when it comes between collectors and artists. So we thought, oh, why not make pre-built galleries and put it at a very low cost, where a person doesn't have to buy a parcel in the metaverse and still can have his or her own virtual gallery on the metaverse, like the very experience of the metaverse. So that's where the project started. More than that, it was the chemistry between me, Marina, and Stargazer. I think these people have immense talent and skills that I can learn from, and we all share the same feeling about all three of us. uh, and
A lot of
it's just a good chemistry. And
mutual
while
respect, hey?
yes, yes, yes. And that's very important. I think the most key important thing is, because see, you can have a small project or one if you're looking forward or wanting to grow more, you do need a team for doing something, for creating tools for the community, or any kind of any if it's a combination, it's a collaboration of people, and when it is, that chemistry matters. Yeah, because we've seen projects. I do not want to name any, but we've seen projects that have been very good intentional, that have got into very good intentions, plus the right team, but after plus a success, but after some success, then that's when you have that things get very challenging because you maintaining those relationships gets difficult. So I think I've been blessed with a very good team in that way. So yeah, that's what I'm more excited about.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I was just looking at the multimedia gallery one. I think that's the one that Hakeem has. Hakeem Draper, I believe, has that, and he's got it decked out with his Boogie Shack stuff. Is really cool. But yeah, just
I'm still to see that. I still have to
Oh,
see
you have to
that. I
check it
haven't
out.
seen the
Yeah,
one.
it's real nice. We actually showed it on the episode where we had Hakeem here, so I walked around in there a little bit. Yeah, it's really nice concept, man. So just to clarify for anyone listening, how simple this is, right? So CryptoVoxels or voxels.com allows any user who connects their wallet to set up a free space. And these free spaces, I believe, have a maximum. Is it still 5 or did they extend it to 10? 10 visitors, right? So you get a maximum of 10 visitors in. So this free space is not a lot that you own, but it is a lot that's attached to your user ID, and you can invite other people to it. You can share it as a link that people can drop into. And so what Renaissance City has done, rather than just being, a blank space where you build whatever you can build with your limited, abilities maybe, or just limited time, because it does take a lot of time to build these things, you can actually just take the JSON file and basically follow their instructions and drop it into this free lot really simply. So all you're really paying for is the JSON file, which is very impressive, as you can see on the screen here. And you just plop that into your own free space, and now you've got a pop-up metaverse that you can just share a link with anyone. You can redirect your website to go to this metaverse instead, so when people go to your website, they actually drop into a metaverse. Really cool. Actually, if you go to web3warriors.io right now, you will find that that redirects you to a metaverse spot, which is a Renaissance City piece that that I was very happy to receive, and it's really cool. So yeah, that's just an example of one really interesting use case for this project, and it's been really dope how you've been very community connected as well. At the beginning, they gave out a lot of these to people in the community who were around and showing up and showing how the different use cases could be. So I was lucky to be one of those people, and it's just been really exciting to see. But yeah, Jigar, awesome. Keep us posted on Renaissance City for sure. On that
In fact,
topic,
we could do some giveaways. We could even do a giveaway for galleries.
Oh, gallery giveaway. You heard it here. Maybe we can get that launched on Twitter. I'll follow up with you. I like it. I was going to ask also, when it comes to voxels, you mentioned Low Sleazy, you mentioned Digital Underground, and really I think that music is going to be such a major component of the metaverse. I think that it's a driver to the metaverse, right? You look at what Digital Underground did on the 25th anniversary of Shock G, or was it, no, what was it? His birthday, right? It was Shock G's birthday. So it was a memorial, rest in peace, Shock G. But being able to really have a party and bring people in for this memorial/birthday party, and just really, really cool, like live music. They got a live stream of Twitch. So just being able to do that, where do you think that's going in the future? Like, do you think that people like Low Sleazy and Money B from Digital Underground, who you've had the pleasure of working with, are really kind of blazing the path? And do you see that like music is really going to be kind of leading the crowd into the metaverse, you could say?
I definitely, because in fact, music producers and DJs were the first people on the metaverse that were doing events. As far as my experience is concerned, I've been here on the space for the last one and a half years now, and these are the people who are actually. We have DJ Lethal Skills, who's now a brand ambassador for Emanate, and just a year ago he started off with DJing in the metaverse, and that says a lot. You have got so many other artists, even in Decentraland and in Sandbox, that have been having events over there. So definitely, music is the way. It's just that it everyone needs to have their own way. I think thinking out of the box, creating an experience with the music, it's going to be the next thing. Creating environments or interactive environments in like an event would really add up to a lot of the experience. So I think people are innovating, finding newer ways to add on to the just the music, because for now in the metaverse you see that you can listen to the music where you are, but you're not actually dancing. The dance move is just a button that you click and left it on your computer.
Right.
So yeah, that's I see it gradually evolving. People understanding how the different things are. Even the metaverse platforms are growing. Like for in Voxels, they're adding Lua scripting, which changes everything. As soon as that upgrade happens, it just becomes like Minecraft or Roadblocks, because very reason that these platforms like Minecraft and Roadblocks, you can play games or make games in there, is because the Lua scripting integration, and Voxels is also working with it. So it's just exciting. I think it's awesome. I think the Voxels project started off with one man in his room, and he's
Right.
built with that.
And
And
wasn't he
I
didn't
understand
he
if it
leave
takes time.
Decentraland as well? Like he had left Decentraland and it's like, nah, screw this, I'm doing it myself.
Yes, 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 and he didn't have a team. So slowly and gradually he's building a team. I think he has a plan, because the way he's going, I think it's perfect. And witnessing that as it happens, that excitement that okay, this is happening. I think yeah, that's something that keeps me going. So yeah, huge respect to Ben Nolan as well.
Yes, mad respect to Ben, and it's really cool that it has been very grassroots, focused. It's very much, focused on taking in the community. He's very accessible in large part, and at least he's transparent when there are major decisions that impact the whole metaverse. So I don't want to gloss over that scripting point. So they're adapting, upgrading voxels to essentially be able to have kind of digital assets that you can use. So for example, maybe it's a car you can jump into and drive around, or maybe it's like a drink you can pick up and actually, hold it in your hand or something.
Or maybe like in Mario, you're hitting a block and then you get wings, or maybe
Oh yeah, you get some
something. I don't know
points or
about that
something.
one.
So the
Yeah,
gamification is going
coins
to
or
be taken
something.
to the next level. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting. And are you surprised by how effective Voxels has been? And maybe you can compare it to other metaverses if you think that other metaverses have done well as well. But just the fact that there are, successful events, successful music events, despite the fact that it is very somewhat limited. Are you surprised by that? Or what do you think is the major appeal right now, considering that, high fidelity graphics or immersiveness, is not necessarily the pull, the gamification's not really there yet. Yeah. What do you think is the biggest pull?
It's slowly happening. Like
Yeah.
even Sandbox started their third round of beta or alpha, I don't know. But yeah, it's slowly happening, but it's going to take time. High fidelity designs are going to take time, believe it or not. I know after Unreal Engine 5 that came out, we've taken a giant leap, but it's still there's still a couple of years till we get there, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm more on metaverse, because it's people are going to know their space or how to utilize after spending time in these metaverses. And I just don't want to wait till the next 2 years till those platforms come by. I want to keep spending time. I think it's been an awesome journey so far. I've been learning every day. So that's what I kind of preach to everyone. Start whatever you get. If it start putting yourself in these spaces, start creating experiences, and the more you do right now, it's just going to be helpful. You're just going to be ahead when those platforms come by.
That's what it's
Or
all about.
I
That's why we're
think
here. We're here building.
the way Voxels is going up right now, I think, like I said in the last interview as well, that when you start from zero, it becomes very easy. And when you start from a high fidelity platform, and then go back and then go inside and tweak in from the base, it becomes a difficult. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time the other metaverse platforms come by, Voxel would be ready with something stronger than what it is right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, I think that's very, very likely. And when I look at other sandbox or other metaverse spaces, I really do think there are some that are kind of competing because they have very similar appeals. Like even between Sandbox and Decentraland, I actually think they're very similar in functionality. But Sandbox is clearly, a little bit higher tier, higher quality, I would say, and more gamification. But as far as like the quality of the metaverse and kind of I don't know, just the general vibe that I get from it, they seem very similar, whereas Voxels does seem very like underground and like community focused and just very accessible, most importantly. I want to ask you quickly on the Renaissance City, though. I'm looking at your new spot here, which is amazing. On the Renaissance City, what is the most kind of interesting use case that you've seen out of all the many kind of artists and musicians and others using the Renaissance City space? Is there one that's like really popped out at you so far as like being really interesting?
Definitely. It started off with artists or fine arts artists, but then the multimedia gallery changed everything. I think for especially for musicians or hip hop artists or all genres of music, basically, the way it's been working for them, it's I don't think any other platform or any other there's any other means where an artist could show their work better than I at least I've not experienced in any other way, because you're actually creating a website, a Web3 website, because it's an experience. It's a 3D virtual space where people can have been listening. I mean, looking at these NFTs that are music NFTs. So I think it's a game changer. I definitely see DJ Man, Kane Mayfield, Hakeem, Gummy. So many people have made this, and the way they've come back with the responses, the way they've been able to show their work to other people, it just, you can just see it, the way they come back and the way they talk. It changes so much for them. You can definitely hear that in the way in the speech. Yeah.
Nice. I'm quickly bringing up our web3warriors.io space, which is one of the more basic NFT spaces, but I really love it to show off some of my art. I actually have to update it. I got a couple new art pieces that I wanted to show off in here. But yeah, they're just so clean, beautifully done. Like, it's very clear that the team putting it together had some kind of architectural background, some understanding towards, symmetry and just how to make a building look nice. But yeah, really well done, man. And to your point, multimedia does take it to another level. And it is very Web3. So anyone looking to transform their normal website into a Web3 website can really just take advantage of this free space and check it out. So Renaissance City on OpenSea, definitely recommend everybody go over there and check it out. So jumping over to your awesome new lot, congratulations on being able to purchase a new lot. Looking at these kind of amazing wearables that you got here. I'm going to find my way inside. But I have the question in our flyer when I was promoting this, why does it matter what you wear in the metaverse? What do you think about that just overarching question? Why is there such a demand? As a gamer, I have some ideas, but I think it's good for our listeners to kind of wrap their mind around it. And a lot of people maybe don't see the value in it, don't understand why anyone would spend hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars on a digital version of fashion that they're wearing, So why does it matter what we wear in the metaverse?
Okay, see, I'll talk about me. I was 4 and 5 years old. I used to collect cardboard boxes and maybe a KFC bucket to wear on my head, make a robot suit for myself, which led me to get into 3D printing, and I made like a full Iron Man suit and so many masks, so many fictional superheroes or custom made masks, and now I do that in the wearables. So for me, okay, if I do it, it's understood. But I think everyone, has it's when you can be anything in the world, that's when your imagination can go wild. And everyone, when they grow, have seen some hero or someone they've been wanting to be. And when you can be anything in the world, why not? There's a place where anonymity is given importance. You could be anything you wanted and be free from people's judgments and all those evils that we've been carrying in the real world. Why not? Why not, David?
No doubt. It's true freedom, right? It's being able to think outside of the box. So on that point, do you think that digital fashion is going to kind of get further and further away from real world fashion? Because as it stands right now, I think there's a general, want or sentiment to have some real world fashion in the metaverse. People want to show off kicks that look somewhat realistic. People want to, wear clothes. Maybe even some people are spending money for Dolce and Gabbana or whatever. I can't remember what the Gucci, wasn't it, that had some metaverse items already out. People are spending crazy amounts of money on. So it seems right now that there is kind of a focus on basically replicating, high fashion into the metaverse. But to your point, and obviously some of your designs speak to this already, but thinking outside of the box and having absolutely no barriers on what's possible from a fashion perspective seems very appealing, So where do you think that trend is going? Do you think there's always going to be kind of a balance of both, or do you think that digital fashion is really just going to run away with it and be very outside of the box, a year from now, 2 years from now?
It's definitely going to be out of the box. In the real world, a lot of the clothes you see are because of the limitations of motion and flexibility and temperature and the heat caused. When in the digital world, nothing of that. So there's no limitations of that sort. So you could wear anything. You could wear. I know, because I getting inside that Iron Man suit in real life. I got in thrice. I haven't got in it for the last 1 year because it scares you. It scares you,
You
trip
feel
and
like
fall
you're
and all
someone
those
else. You just took on a alternate personality.
No, it scares you because it's plastic, and if you fall down or trip
Oh,
or something, all of that's going to
right.
break, and then crucify you. Probably. So yeah, there's so much more freedom in digital. There's so many artists now. Fast artists are the people who are have more sentiments towards the nature as well. I've come across so many fashion designers who quit fashion designing or creating fashion because of the amount of plastic, the amount of carbon footprints that it leaves,
Right.
and digital, and that is where these artists have got a life, a one up, like they say, a one up. They definitely got a one up from being in the metaverse and creating digital fashion. Even Ope, the person that I think we spoke about a while back, she too quit a lot of getting into fashion because the amount of plastic that was she was looking for ways to not use plastic, but
Mm.
it just wasn't possible. It just wasn't, and that's where it breaks all those barriers here in the digital fashion for sure. And why not? What is everyone's life's 90% of focus going into creating an identity in real life, uh, being seen in a respectable manner, and that's what everyone worked towards, and I think it'll be the same in the metaverse.
Yeah, so your reputation still matters, and trying to build something that you can be proud of, definitely still going to matter, right? Shout out to
Definitely.
Shasha. She was saying the concept of shilling is difficult, looking at the Renaissance City, and having that opportunity to shill your art in Renaissance City is definitely a nice opportunity for those who maybe don't want to jump into Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces and talk about their art and tell others to buy it or ask others to buy it. It's not easy for everyone. I know I have a difficulty with it for sure. But yeah, it's the way it goes. So we're walking around in your new spot. What is the goal of this metaverse lot? So it's got Metavoxels branding. It's got some pretty cool green pods with some avatars standing on them. What is your hope for somebody walking into this lot off the street?
It's my website. It's my Web3 website. It's showcasing the works I do. Also showcases the building skills that I have, and I want to make it interactive. I mean, that just began. This is like the work of the last 3 weeks,
No
day and
doubt.
night. And once there's a long way to go. I want to make it as interactive as possible, more special effects, more Easter eggs, because yeah, I don't know if you went on in the were you able to go in the basement,
Not
find
yet.
your way to
No,
the
I'm
basement,
looking at these
because
pods. I'm just really impressed by like the fact that they're standing on these really cool green like animated pods. Like it's just a really nice presentation, man. It's really well done.
yeah, so this is the crazy part, that we're going to have Easter eggs, and the people who understand the clues and everything would be able to go in the basement, is how I plan. And let's show you what we have in the basement. Let's do that. Do you see me? over there?
Yep, there he is. Batman. What's up, Jigar?
All right, follow me, follow me.
All right, so we're walking through
This is
Jigar's new
also like
lot. Hey, what's this place called in Voxels? What corner of Voxels is this?
Metavoxels in Kronos.
Kronos. Okay. How do I get down there? Oh, I sunk underground. Oh my goodness. It's the Bat Cave. Yo. This is next level, man.
So
Now I know where those 3 weeks have gone. Everyone's not seeing this on the screen's missing out, so he's got a legit Bat
this
Cave.
is exclusive. This is exclusive.
Oh,
This is exclusive.
there we go. Exclusive sneak peek. Jigar's amazing lot. It's the legit Bat Cave. Pretty sure this is the only Bat Cave in the metaverse right now. He's even got the awesome Bat car. So imagine a future where you can actually drive this Bat car and you could actually like have some kind of cool exit where you like shoot yourself through the ground, you know? That would be awesome. This is really cool, Jigar. Well done, man. This is really impressive. Got a Abe Lincoln coin here. Got
This is the trinity of trophies. Every Batman comic, if the Batcave doesn't have these three things, it's incomplete. This is one of the Easter eggs. Yeah, only the comic book readers would know.
Nice. Even a T-Rex, really? There's a Batcave. There's a T-Rex in the Batcave. Interesting.
Or some number 24 comic number 24. I don't really remember, but yeah, it was about some T-Rex. I don't remember. This is years, ages ago.
Yeah, you've been busy for real. I love the vents, the ventilation. Makes it look so real, man. This is really well done. So he's got vents on the ground. He's got bat screens here. He's got the whole like chair, desk. Got the suit. Got the utility belt on the wall. Look at that. The grapple hook. Oh man, next level. Well done, Jigar. This is what it's all about. This is the immersion we're looking for. You know, this is the creativity. And as Voxels evolves, you evolve with it, you know? Really, really cool. Thank you for the sneak peek. That's going to be a real treat for anybody tuning in on the visuals. You can check out the YouTube archives to get the visuals if you're listening on the audio. So very cool. So definitely sounds like you're aiming to gamify this spot, right? You're aiming to kind of make, like you said, you already got some kind of Easter eggs hidden, and you're looking at other opportunities. So on the top, you've got, or on the main floor, you've got the avatars, you've got the community leaders who you're highlighting. You've got this really cool basement. So how many more weeks is it going to take for you to finalize this thing?
See, it's never going to end. You know, these are my first parcels, and it's constantly going to be changing. You know, I wake up with an idea. I do. It's been an exciting.
That's what's
I
up.
think
It's a legit sandbox.
I worked hard, and I wanted a parcel in Andromeda, but none of them were on sale. And when I saw this parcel, it's two parcels actually the two adjoining parcels. It is better than what I asked for. It is far more better than what I wanted. And yeah, it was a match made in heaven, is what I'd say. So it's going to be a continuous work of changes and upgradations. But I'm trying to make something get ready by the 25th because it's my birthday and I want to do a housewarming party. And who I don't think anyone's ever had a party in the Batcave, so I'm gonna try to
not.
Yeah.
Party in the Batcave for Jigar's birthday. Let's go. Looking forward to it, man. That's so amazing, honestly. It's really amazing. So I know you mentioned a little bit of news coming out of the metaverse as far as Voxels planning to, update the script to allow you to kind of engage with items a little bit more in the metaverse. Is there anything else, even outside of Voxels, metaverse wide, that you've heard about or seen that you're really excited about? Anything you'd like to let us know about, like as far as the evolution of the metaverse and what's coming or what you've seen recently?
Not actually. I do hear a lot of these VCs and celebrities getting into these platforms, but I would just tell the people to look at the artists around you and support them first before getting into these. The main intention is that these companies have been exploiting artists from centuries now, and Web3 brings a hope that artists get get their fair share of what makes it. So I would say that, but things are happening, things are moving. We had Tommy Hilfiger get into roadblocks, creating avatars for roadblocks, and yeah, a couple of other like Gucci and Gabbana, all these companies are slowly trying to get in. So yeah.
Yeah, so those are kind of the obvious things as far as corporations trying to wiggle their way in, and a lot of new VC funded metaverses telling you to invest in their platform and we're going to be the best metaverse. Yeah, it's tough. You know, I think there's something to be said about first movers advantage. There's something to be said about getting things done and actually collaborating with the community rather than just doing like a real top down, top heavy kind of approach to the metaverse and just saying this is what we have and this is why it's the best, but nobody's here yet, you know. But believe us, it'll be the best, you know.
Yes, and the thing is that it won't be fun if you don't have a community, and these people don't have a community, they have a name. And the metaverse, the experience, being together, flying together, looking at having new interactions or new experiences together, I think that plays the more important role than just having a piece of land that is from a known company in your wallet. That doesn't make sense. The
Yeah.
experiences make sense. So it's nothing without a community.
And that
It's
real
nothing without
support,
friends.
right? That real peer-to-peer support for artists is what is the most rewarding aspect. You know, everyone wants their financial gains and all the rest, but just actually being able to have art that you're proud of and knowing that you've helped another artist is very rewarding, and really kind of speaks to the art collection side of this. And really, digital assets in the metaverse are no different. These amazing voxels creations that you've built are definitely works of art in their own right. So looking at these other voxels that you've got, the Metavoxels, these big robot avatars, right? And, you know, I kind of clicked on one looking into the OpenSea, and you kind of have to purchase them piece by piece, right? If you're going to try to build your avatar.
No, so these are actually the NFTs are the ones you see on the screen. So they are on Foundation, and the collectors will be later on airdrop the pieces one by one, and with the JSON, so that you just have to upload the JSON and the what do you call it? The avatar would be on you. You don't have to work on every part of that, wear it. So it comes with the JSON, and again, that'll be a plug and play avatar as well.
Right,
But,
right. So
yeah.
it's similar to the way that you've presented the other avatars. You buy them you buy it as a full file.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah.
find it
So
here.
what happens is when the avatar you mint variables, you see them in parts. You do not get the idea of how it's going to look in the end result. So I thought that was a big barrier, and I wanted to find ways that are better. And I think this has worked out pretty good for me. And I think other variables artists have also started doing it in a similar way. So I like the fact that I can bring newer ideas. It's always about thinking out of the box and getting new stuff out there. Yeah. So
No doubt, no doubt.
I've seen that happen. Yeah.
That's what's up. And I just noticed you have some Sabet inspired editions on your Third Dimension page. Did you work directly with Sabet for those?
Yes. So those were Sabet. I've done a collection with Sabet with his artworks, and he's done giveaways with them. Also for Robness, it's been some little opportunities that I've got to work with these great artists.
That's
It's
super
been fun.
cool. I want one of these Sabet shirts. They're beautiful. I love the colors and the way that you've like ported it over. How do you do that? So you take like the JPEG as a starting point, and then you somehow build assets around it?
Yeah, so you take the JPEG, you try to pixelate it, to manipulate the same thing into a pixel, and then you create the pixel art to the voxel art. So it's not difficult once you get a hang of it, like anything, once you get a hang of it, you can do that. But yeah, the converting it into pixels is the way the challenge is. Like I said, it's the excitement, growing, getting up every day and trying to work on something new, get better. I think it's amazed me every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, my question I was going to get to with the fact that there are so many kind of individual assets, right? That, yeah, you pair them together for presentation and they look awesome. But how difficult is it to actually keep track of these assets? And like right now, for example, I'm seeing like this Zoran camera is really cool. You've made like 600 of them and none of them are on sale right now. So so I'm curious, you know, I know it's difficult to stay on top of these things and actually make sure you have all of these different assets listed, but you technically could be missing out on a little bit of money, right? Not having them listed.
A lot of it, actually, a lot of it.
Right.
Because it doesn't let me list for more than a month or so. And then, every month going back to each and every variable, it becomes tough. But at the same time, my NFT projects are mostly in like commission based, where I just have to airdrop it to the person. The quantity that he asked for, I keep a little of the quantity just to be in my portfolio. And later on, it's mostly been a franchise that I've been creating for a lot of people. So it's been fine for me.
So you're not really concerned about listing every single asset you have necessarily.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to list them for, I think, 6 months at least, right? I think 6 months is the longest one. Or
yeah, I think 6 months. Yeah, I'll have to go back. I've been getting so many building projects every now and then, coping up with listing. Believe me, I did list all of them twice. And then, once you do it once and then twice, third time, like, dude, I've got new stuff. Let's keep rolling, putting new stuff.
Keep rolling forward. I could imagine. Well, it's something to consider, for creators, especially in the metaverse. They can add up, and it's awesome because you're obviously just having fun with it and keep building. But I think as you're going to have a process in place to ensure they are listed, to ensure, you are having revenue coming in from any direction possible, which you definitely deserve for all these hours you're putting into this creativity. So it's really, really amazing. Yeah. Cool, man.
Right now, believe I see the parcel even in my dreams. So that's my focus, getting that ready by the 25th. Yeah, believe me, I woke up, before I woke up today, I was in the bat cave. So yeah.
No doubt. That's what's up. Well, I look forward to seeing what else you dream up. So outside of the metaverse, you said you were also getting access to, was it Otherside, the SDK for Otherside Metaverse? And I believe you mentioned Sandbox as well. Have you had a chance to build anything in Sandbox yet, or had a look at the Otherside SDK?
I have already applied for the SDK. They call it the ODK for some reason, for the other side. And Sandbox, I still need to upgrade my computer for getting into Sandbox. Again, Sandbox being having a lot of sponsors, from celebrities and the big companies behind it. I don't know. I feel a bit skeptical, but why not? Why not? As soon as I get the motivation to get into Sandbox, this thing about jumping. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I can see that. The motivation definitely matters. On your point about having a lot of those kind of big names and celebrities and that in it, that's why I feel someone like you who's just such a natural in the voxel space, like you would obviously be able to build some really cool Sandbox assets. Like there's no question. And the way that the Sandbox, their graphics, to your point, you need a slightly better computer. So we got to get Jigar a better computer. Everybody go buy his awesome assets. But to your point, that is a barrier for sure, but it's also an awesome opportunity for you to really flex those muscles, right? Because I can only imagine, in their kind of higher fidelity graphics, how much even more poppin' all of these assets would look, right? And I think it's a scenario where you could even probably copy over a lot of these assets you've built already, right?
Yeah.
And just basically do whatever fine tuning you need to do to get it working in their SDK, but it shouldn't be a huge lift to have some of these assets available in Sandbox form, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things that that's always in my mind. Once I'll be able to do things, or once I'm doing things, I have already a lot of the assets ready. So yeah, that's going to be a good, I think.
Nice. Well, as far as I'm concerned, Sandbox missing the boat by not having already reached out to you and said, hey, Jigar, we really would love to have you building in our SDK and taking advantage of this technology here. And get you a new computer even. But no, we'll see. I'm just going to put that out in the universe for you. Good luck. But no, I'm actually really interested in Sandbox. I'm not a big fan of the corporations, to your point, and they are, I've heard rumors that Microsoft is at the top of them. I don't know how true that is, but definitely a lot of corporations within the Sandbox universe. But they're on chain, and their assets are tradable, and they are Web3. So I'm still very interested in it. I haven't written them off yet. yeah, we'll see where it
No,
goes.
I haven't written them off.
Yeah.
It's I'm more of a feel guy, right now I'm enjoying it, and I'm going with the flow.
Yeah, no
It's
doubt.
been a good journey so far, and
And I do
I
think
just
everything
I
you're
just don't want
doing,
to jinx it.
right? Everything you're doing in voxels is definitely applies. I can only imagine it's going to apply to Sandbox. They just have a little bit more, gamer side functionality, which would be cool for you to be able to play around with for sure. Sasha had a cool question about 3D building. So just asking, what's the best software for someone who wants to start, 3D building essentially? And I know that might be different depending on whether it's a voxel 3D build or maybe more like Unity style, Decentraland style 3D build. But yeah, what's your answer to that? What's the best kind of software to start with if you're looking to get into
I would
3D
say
assets?
Blender is something I myself being into 3D printing, I learned this. I am proficient in ZBrush, but right now I feel I could do much better if I had the knowledge of Blender, because that is one software that is going to connect to every other metaverse. You could be building making assets in Blender for every other metaverse, and then it just leaves you a little bit of fine touching, or dropping it in another software and then saving it again. So everything mostly is going to be covered in Blender. So that is one thing and it's free. Blender is definitely free and open source. So I think everyone should try to get their hands on them if they want to be a part of building in the metaverse, not just enjoying. Yeah.
There you go. Blender's still the spot. That's not that surprising. That would be the recommendation. When looking at voxels, do you think that starting with like a Magica voxels or something like that would be the way to go if you're looking a little more basic than Blender?
Yeah. If it's voxel specific, then I think I've fallen in love with Magical Voxels. For first in the starting, it was just making like simple T-shirts, but I think the more you use it, I just found out that you could even do like simple animations in Magical Voxels in
Oh, wow.
itself. So there's a lot of things in there that I still haven't tried. The shaders, the patterns. There's so many things out there that I don't know with the software, and every day something new about it. So it's a wonderful tool if you want, and if you like to work in voxels, if you think voxels is a nice place, I think Magica Voxels is a brilliant tool.
Yeah, Magica Voxels.
Yeah.
I've had it on my computer for a minute. I've poked around a little bit, but it really just comes down to time, even more so. Like with Blender, I think that the learning curve is a little steeper. Like there's definitely some tutorials and stuff you'll need to take your time to walk through and really get the gist of it. Magica Voxels, I really feel like just clicking around, especially if you ever played Minecraft, it's pretty straightforward, but it is very time consuming to do it well. Like you can throw something together hodgepodge and it might look okay and you could use it technically, but if you want to actually create something you're going to be proud of, like you're saying, it takes that time. So your process specifically, these awesome avatars that you've built, does it incorporates an element of both Magica Voxels and Blender, or is it strictly Magica Voxels?
So it's a mix. Like the if you saw the mecha suits in the first
Yeah.
at the front place, that those are made completely in Magica Voxels, but the ones that are more organic, like the avatars in the second room, where the anatomy is given, the organic uh, shapes are giving more importance. I think that is where I use ZBrush, create like a fine anatomy, then drop it in Magica Voxels as an OBJ, and then start working on there with the colors.
Very cool.
So it totally depends. And like any artwork, every software out there has some pluses and minuses, and knowing different softwares for the same thing and mixing them up, I think that really that's very important for every artist. So it's I think like if you want to work into Zebra in Blender, you could start off with Blender, but then it doesn't stop anyway there. You can jump to ZBrush, Maya. Then you have what do you have? You have Unity. You can take it another level and get into Unity or Unreal Engine. Yeah, I think
Nice.
there's no end to it. Knowing more softwares in the same thing for the same thing is always is
Yeah,
awesome.
I can definitely see the shading on these other avatars that have actual more, body type and different colors, a lot of different shading colors. I really love the TV on journalists, the journalist face, how the different colors kind of
That
reflect.
that is a signature style. The
Yeah.
glitch that you see, that was one of the mistakes that I did for one work, and then I was like, oh my god, this is something different. And now it's become a signature thing for me because I don't think anyone knows or does these kind of glitches. There are ways where you wear like two wearables at the same body part and it glitches, but this glitch is inside the wearable
Yeah, this is
itself. So
actually within the one wearable, and the way that it
yeah.
creates almost like a reflection effect. It's really neat, man. Really well done. So I do want to talk specifically about how you're helping these awesome community leaders through this project, right? So each of these digital assets that is shown here with the avatar, like you said, the avatar is a limited edition for each individual. So Low Sleazy got his own avatar, Ope got her own, and that was a really cool kind of exclusive gift you basically gifted to them, right? But then they're also getting copies of each of these kind of digital assets, right? Can you explain a little bit of your thought behind that and exactly what it is you're offering to them?
So they have their own one-of-one avatar. What I did was I sat with them, try to understand what their hobbies are, what their fashion is. I try to know what their favorite music band is, favorite sport is, or favorite team is, the favorite movie, and try to create a picture in my head. That what would be like a perfect avatar, and then I create something, show them, and then there's a little back and forth. But with that, I also provide like merchandises that they can give away. So the people who collect the collectible cards, the NFTs, would be backing these avatars for them, and at the same time would be getting different airdrops of the merchandises that are shown there, and even the new stuff. I think I always like to surprise my collectors, and then future also when I make something new, I'm like, okay, this is a good thing for my collectors. I might just do special one of avatars like a limited edition wearables for my collectors. So that's the idea.
Nice. And so for example, Low Sleazy's got all his Bored Ape and Mutant Ape awesome gear here. You're sending him, or have you sent him like a specific amount of these assets, or even like the blockchain gospel book, which is awesome. I want that blockchain gospel book. I need to be able to buy that. But yeah, so
Definitely.
how many of like each of these assets have you sent him, and then is he free to kind of just sell them and you get a small percentage and he gets some, or how does that work?
No, I don't get any percentage, and
No, even as creator of it, you should get like a 10% or something, right?
maybe there is a royalty, but I think in right before we had something done for supporting someone in Clubhouse, and people bought, and I didn't get any notification of any royalties. So I don't think there's any royalties on these. But no, this is I don't want the royalties. I've actually gained so much knowledge from these people
No doubt.
that helped me to great success, and it's much better than royalties from especially these people. Yeah, if it was anyone else, I would have made sure that I have something coming back to me, but no, not for them. I think there's huge respect for all these community people who've been holding space. I was a different person 1.5 years ago, and I've changed. These people have given so much information, so much got me to know about the ethos of Web3, and I'm one strong member of that team now. So why not? I don't care
Yeah.
about the royalties. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? On that point, you just reminded me of something that I would love to touch on here. But thank you. That's awesome. And yeah, I agree. These community leaders are invaluable, and it is awesome, especially during this bear market, to know we have a space, on Clubhouse and even on Twitter and just in the NFT community more broadly, where people are really, devoted to the technology and the artistic side and the creative side of things, right? So with your, being kind of trained, through the School of Blockchain Gospel and neighborhood jewelry and wherever else, I've heard that you had a bit of a tit for tat with somebody trying to take a deceased artist from India, their work, and sell them as NFTs. Is this ringing a bell? Is this something you want to speak to briefly?
Yes.
Yes, I would love for
I
you.
do.
I would love for you to give a little bit of background on this, because I think it's a very important topic for the space, for the NFT community, looking at, people who have maybe bought art in the real world, turning around and trying to create essentially derivatives of that art, that they do not have the rights to that art. They did not create the art. They just bought it from a famous artist, and now they want to basically turn around and make some money on a derivative of that art. Please give the background and your thoughts. Yeah.
So this one day I jump in a room on Clubhouse and I come across this person who people call OG because he's been on the space even before me, and he promoted, who was talking about his project where he was giving out derivatives of an artwork. I don't even know if it is from this famous artist whose name was MF Hussain. He's one of the most prestigious artists over the last 3 decades in India. He passed away 11 years ago and doesn't have any derivative rights to give any derivative rights to any of his artworks. And this guy is creating a PFP project, creating like 1,000 or 10,000 piece collection. I'm using his name, saying that these are artworks, derivatives of artworks of MF Hussain, who passed away 11 years ago. So I have no idea how he got the rights. And so I had to speak up. I see that he had the what do you call it? He said that he put it out. These are free men, so he's getting nothing out of it. But I see what's happening over here. Tomorrow, when NFT becomes a thing in India or around the world, he'd say that I was the first one to put artworks of MF Hussain on the blockchain. And that gives a lot of credibility to him on a very big market over there. That creates a very big leverage. And artists, and then again, what next year? He doesn't respect the artist. He doesn't care about it. He just is using the name, because if he did, he wouldn't use the name in the first place. uh so tomorrow when that happens, he is going to be the same chain that we saw in Web 2. He's going to take a huge chunk of the hard work that artists are going to be. Because on the side, I also got to learn, because while I was calling him out in this room, I had two back channels saying that this guy was promoting his own platform in the previous room. So it all connects over there.
Yeah,
I
right.
knew there was something fishy going on.
And
So in
isn't it
one
that he's
way,
trying to? It's not even on Ethereum, right? Isn't it on some other blockchain too?
it is on some other blockchain.
Uh,
But it's okay. People are fine to, experiment in different blockchains.
yeah,
I
yeah. Oh no,
myself
for
am not.
sure. I just mean as far as like he could just be boosting like his own, kind of crazy altcoin or whatever, shitcoin maybe.
Yeah, and India has a huge space in the art, in heritage art and different kinds of cultures. We have over 10,000 different cultures over here in India,
Mm-hmm.
and all of them have their own art that could really benefit from NFTs and Web3. And this guy is already trying to, dig graves for these artists, because what have artists got? Everything you see around you, every pen, pencil, everything behind it, there's an artist who created a sketch first because of that. And then still these artists for decades have to find second jobs to work while they were creating art at the part time. This is the first time that there's a space where artists could be ahead of that, ahead of the game. And I can't stand such things happening where people use other artist's name and try
Yeah.
to
And
build a base
you've
for
been speaking
themselves.
out, and that's good. And it's I don't want to give that person any airtime, so we're not going to speak directly about their project because but I looked at it briefly, and I heard the broad strokes from what other people who were in the room with you when he was kind of shilling his project. And I'm with you 110%. Like, I do not think that's okay. At the very least, it would be very easy to actually try to reach out to the community where this artist came from, look at ways to give back, look at ways to incorporate in the smart contract, like guaranteed revenue for a specific, community group at the very least. But even just the fact that he's profiting off of it and not giving proper credit or proper revenue to anyone who actually is connected to the artist is really kind of shady and not very Web3. But we are likely to see more of it, to your point. And to the point about accessibility of these Indian artists who are struggling, what do you think the avenue to jump into Web3, to jump into NFTs should do? Like, what do you think we as onboarders, right, people like we working with the Dream Conduit, we want to help people who are like that, essentially struggling artists, jump into the Web3 space, the NFT space, and find success? We know there is a little bit of overhead cost on that, but what do you think are the biggest barriers? Like, is it just knowledge? Like, what's preventing? Because we know India's got amazing artists, and like you say, a lot of them are probably struggling, poor, whatever the case may be, and their art likely could be lucrative on the blockchain. So what do you think is a hurdle there, and do you see a real positive momentum in the direction of artists jumping into Web3 in India?
I have been trying. It's been a year. I've been holding events all around India, IRL, plus speaking in spaces wherever possible. And it's more of the fun that's created. The life of a normal person in India is like you get up and go run to work and then come back tired, and then there's no time for anything else but entertainment. But I see slowly and gradually people are trying to take efforts to at least find out. But then again, the things happening every now and then, the FUD, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
But we are trying to our best. We have the colors of India that we've been working for over a year. But we realized that the excitement and the energy getting the space by itself is very slow and very gradually, showing its potential. And we being excited and trying to be ahead of the game, it's just going to be disheartening for us. So we're also going to try to take a step back, trying to go with the pace of how the space is increasing, because and again, I think there's still time where we are trying to put the word out, but there's still time. I think more has to happen. More changes need to be happening in the way things are done in the space. We saw the merge just happen on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
That too created a lot of dilemmas in people's brains. So that something or the other keeps happening, and then I think there's still time. We still need to see about things happening.
To your point, right? It's not like it's an easy silver bullet. It's not like, hey, put your art on the blockchain and you'll sell and you'll make all this Ethereum, and that's been the misnomer. I think last year there were a lot more people who believe that. I think this year the harsh reality has hit people that it's still a hustle. You still have to get yourself in the right spaces.
It definitely is going to be.
Right.
You're taking the middleman out and putting the artists in that space. So It's going to be tough. But at the same time, there are people working on tools. Like, I think Renaissance City is a very good tool. But then there are a lot of different people. We are just artists, helping artists. They're developers who are trying to come up with new options, new possibilities. And that is being worked out. I think there's a huge potential. We just heard about Quantum today on Kane Mayfield's public school. And I'm impressed with what they're bringing out with token gating and how you mint your NFTs and bring in more features. So it's just crazy how people are coming out with new and innovative ideas, and I'm just positive.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's the evolution is ongoing, So it's definitely amazing for sure. Well, I know I've taken more than an hour of your time. It's been really, really great conversation. I think that the NFT space in India, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for that Colors of India DAO. I think that is a really great organization and initiative. But like you say, especially during the bear market, it might be hard finding new members and swelling those numbers and convincing people why they should jump on the blockchain. Well, that's why we're here, the innovators, the builders, right? We're going to just keep doing what we're doing. Hopefully people see it and get interested and excited. We live stream on Twitch so that the gamers see it and tune in. We'll see how much progress we're making on that front, but it's a consistent evolution, and I don't think we need to stress ourselves out too much. There's a lot made about quote unquote mass adoption and when's everybody going to come join us over here, and I don't think that's necessarily the important question. The more important question is, what value can you bring to the space, and then what value can you get out of the space as well? Like being able to sell your art, being able to learn about 3D builds, learn about what the metaverse is and how to actually bring your art into the metaverse, bring your art onto the blockchain and into NFTs and sell your art and just join this new creator economy, So we'll just keep banging that drum and see who else comes in. Did you have any final thoughts on for anyone listening, as far as, why you're doing what you're doing, what the metaverse holds, what you're looking forward to the most? Any final thoughts, Jigar?
Everything that motivates me is mostly doing the right thing, supporting others, pushing people, because I am an artist. A lot of my years was wasted, bringing the confidence of talking about my art and, being confident, telling myself that I am good at what I do. So keep supporting the artists around you rather than, pitching for these NFTs that you hear from the celebrities and these VCs and these big companies. Rather than that, look for artists around you and support them. I think that will be a big move, and it does come back in different ways for you. So yeah, just be helpful, be spread the love, and don't be clicking links. That's important. If you don't know where the links are from,
Good
as
disclaimer.
always, don't be clicking links. The space grows, it's going to be more important to focus on this. It's very important. A
Security
lot
is
of
super
people.
important, and there's a lot of shady people out there trying to tell you all kinds of nonsense through your DMs. Definitely want to ignore that all the time. Do not click on any links from anybody you do not know. Thank you. A good disclaimer there, Jigar. And I'm looking at these Kane Mayfield Tims, and I definitely need those in the metaverse, man. Those shoes are popping. I'm going to have to reach out to them and see what I can do. I don't know how much those bad boys are going to cost, but I need some Kane Mayfield Tims in the metaverse. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thank you to everybody who's joined us on the stream. We'll be live next Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. And until then, catch you in the metaverse. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.